Hi there, I'm Chintamani Cloud, and in today's yoga video, I would like to demonstrate the sun salutations A and B, also known as Surya Namaskara A and B. This practice is intended for beginners who maybe have never even done yoga before, and the first place we want to start off with is to check in with our alignment, to understand that this practice is going to be about holding this alignment as we move with our breath, and then learning which movements come with our inhales, which movements come with our exhales, and weaving that into this instruction of the sun salutation. Some of us might benefit even if we've already been doing yoga for a while. This is a way for us to break down and deepen our practice, because many of us, and as Western yogis, do a lot of sun salutations, but we do them in very modified or changed ways. So this is going to help us come back to the original traditional scientific alignment of sun salutation A and B, and help us to achieve our full potential through the sun salutation so that we can expand and progress in the rest of our practice. Along with this demonstration, be offering lots of modifications so that if a person tries to come into these shapes, but they lose their core or lose their alignment, then using these modifications is a safe way for us to prepare the body to strengthen in the right way to one day then do the full expressions of the poses. So that's the intention here with our sun salutation. I hope that everyone will be able to incorporate this info into their practice so that they can achieve their full potential and then also experience the full potential of the yoga practice itself. Before I demonstrate the traditional sun salutations A and B, I just wanted to demonstrate and talk about some of the alignment that we're going to be trying to foster right from position 1. So first thing that we're going to need to work on is the positioning of our shoulders. We don't want our shoulders to be rolling forward no matter how tall we try to stand up. We need to get into a position where we lift the shoulders up and are able to not only squeeze them back behind us, but then widen them apart before they roll forward again. And we're going to keep them in that position by drawing in through the abdominal muscles. That practice can only be fully engaged if we also tuck the tailbone under and draw the glutes in. You'll hear traditional yogis talk about the bandhas, and this is the Sanskrit word that describes the gateways that live along the spine. Essentially our pelvic floor, which is one gateway, our navel, which was once another gateway, and then our nasal and throat passageway, which is a third gateway, or the head in general is has many gateways in and out of the body. So essentially, we're not just trying to engage the core and just the pelvic floor. We're actually trying to engage our full being in towards the spine to close off these gateways. And that's what's going to give us our full lift, our full lengthening up the back of the neck and head. So I'll demonstrate sun salutation A once and B once, and then we can break it down discussing modifications for these poses if you can't do the full expression. So now that we've had an opportunity to observe the sun salutations done in a flow sequence or in a vinyasa style, which translates to breath and movement in a sequence of moving with the breath, one breath per movement, I'll break it down with some verbal instructions, and you can choose to do this along with me if you'd like. So sun salutation A, we come towards the front edge of our mat. We roll the shoulders up and back and widen them apart. We lock in through the bandhas, lifting the navel up and in towards the spine as the tailbone tucks under and the glutes draw in. Lengthening up, the spine continues in the neck, so we want to make sure that we're aware of the neck and the position of the head as we come towards standing at the front of the mat. Traditionally, there's actually a set amount of movements and a set amount of breaths in both the sun salutation A and B. We may not be able to manifest those exact breaths, those exact amount of breaths in our first sun salutation, but you can aim for it. And just remember to keep breathing as the most important element. So you never want to hold your breath in a way to kind of keep with the movements. We always want the breath flowing, but we're going to try to be aware of inhaling as we draw our arms up and overhead and exhaling as we dive forward. We're trying to look back behind us as we squeeze the chest to the legs. Our inhale to our half lift traditionally has our hands on the ground. Many of us are going to benefit from lifting onto fingertips or bringing hands to shins. Exhale, we try to bend at the knees to plant the hands, and we can float back right into chaturanga, or breaking it down, we can step back into plank and then exhale into chaturanga. Traditionally, we float above the floor here and then come into our upward facing dog. Then, as we exhale, we lift up, we engage the core to pass back through plank, and we find our downward facing dog. And we'd be here traditionally for 5 breaths. Then we inhale onto the balls of the feet after the 5 breaths. I like to talk about inhaling into this position, exhaling as you bend into the knees, getting you ready for a jump. But you can also just walk the feet forward. Inhale into your half lift. Maybe the hands leave the floor. Exhale, we bring the hands back towards the floor. We push into the floor to bring the chest to the legs. And now we want to draw in through our bandhas and lengthen the spine, not back bend, even though we're looking up, and then we'll exhale to even and equal standing between right and left side of the body. And I'll do that again, and we'll highlight some more options for modifications. So first breath, inhale. Second breath, exhale. Maybe the hands don't touch the floor, just fingertips. Inhale, third breath. Exhale, fourth breath. So we can jump back or step back. Now we can also use the knees if we need to. Inhaling here and exhaling to lower down. Maybe we inhale just to a gentle back bend in a cobra variation. We still want to engage the bandhas. As we exhale, we can add an extra breath lowering down to help us get ready for our push-up, which can take us to a modified plank. And then we're going to lift up and back through plank to downward facing dog. Traditionally, we'd be here for 5 breaths, and we want to make sure that our downward dog isn't a place where we're looking to stretch and create a back bend. We're trying to prepare ourselves to learn how to carry strength in the upper body. So we want the shoulders staying wide apart, back behind us, locked into the shoulder girdle, as we use our abdominal muscles, the front and the back side of our torso muscles, to lengthen the spine. When our 5 counts are over, maybe we say 5 to 10 counts, that's okay too. We inhale onto our balls of the feet, maybe we hop or float the feet forward. We take an inhale to our half lift with hands lifting off the floor or staying on the floor. And then we exhale to our forward fold, and we inhale up to standing, drawing in through our meridian. We don't want to back bend here, but we do want to gaze up. And then exhale, Samastitihi. And we'll do one more demonstration of that, talking about all the different ways we can modify the sun salutation A. So feet can be even wider apart if we need to, if we're feeling like we're not getting enough balance with the feet together. Otherwise, we bring the big toe knuckles to touch and the heels are just slightly apart. We draw in through our alignment, inhaling, first breath, exhaling, second breath. Inhale, third breath. Exhale, maybe we drop the knees right away. Inhaling here, exhaling. Inhaling here, exhaling. So that was a nice demonstration of how we can use the knees for the entire time, but we can still follow our breath and movement, engaging through the bandha. So we're still developing the flexibility and the strength and the stamina, even though we're not doing the full expression of the pose. And we can inhale here, exhaling. Maybe it's a small walking of the feet forward on lifted fingertips. Inhaling here and exhaling. Inhaling up to standing. Bend the knees if you need to. Exhale, Samasthiti. And then some of those modifications are going to apply now to our Sun Salutation B. But there's a little bit more going on with our chair pose and our Warrior One, as well as the vinyasa, the movement, taking one breath per one movement. So something you'll notice right away is that Sun Salutation B is where we warm up the body. We really will start to create a lot of heat from within, and you're going to really need to take and control your breath as you're going to be moved to a place of almost of cardiac engagement, where you're going to start to feel your heart rate expanding and your breath wanting to come out of control. So the practice is really going to begin now of maintaining the breath drawing slowly in and slowly out of the body. And we'll talk about different modifications. So it's the same alignment, zipping up through the bandhas. First breath is chair pose. That's the difference here. We could do it with feet together and hands together with a straight spine, or widening the feet apart. We can inhale the arms up maybe first, keeping the hands apart too, and exhale, bending into the knees. What we want to just make sure that we don't do is untuck the tailbone. Now we've lost our abdominal strength and our core strength. We want to keep the tailbone tucked under. We want to stay lengthened in the spine. And this is because we want to imagine if we were sitting at a table, we don't sit at a table in this position. Our faces are not coming in towards our plate. We're sitting up nice and tall. So we'll try that demo once again. The feet can be wide apart or close together. We can inhale our arms up and keep our hands wide apart to start as we develop the strength and the opening in the shoulders. Then we'll breathe here. First breath, exhale. Second breath, we're gonna dive forward. Inhale to your half lift, just like our Sun Salutation A. Maybe hands stay on the floor, lift to shins. Then we bend at the knees to plant the hands. We can float back, or maybe some of us are stepping back, using the knees if we need to, like we already talked about for Sun Salutation A. And exhale to lower down. Inhaling, traditionally we're doing our upward facing dog where only the hands and feet are touching the ground. And then we feel ourselves lift up and back through plank as we exhale back to downward facing dog. In Western vinyasas, we move like this into our Warrior One. In our traditional Sun Salutation, this could take some getting used to. We're actually gonna gently step the left foot forward, turning the toes on a diagonal, and then immediately stepping the right foot forward up in between the hands. And in time, we'll get to a place where we can step that foot forward with the palms down, but as we develop in the body, we can use our fingertips to help get the room to step that right foot forward. Now I'm gonna establish my foundation and inhale to rise up on an inhalation. Now here we need to talk about our Warrior One, which we'll break down in another video. But just as a reminder, we can modify our Warrior One. Instead of bringing the hands together, we can widen the hands apart. And it's only one breath here. So we're gonna exhale and lower down. And this is what's gonna create all that heat in the body, is that we're not holding yet. We're gonna lift off of the left heel, establishing a low lunge so that we can step the right foot back into plank position. On the second side, I'll do another demonstration of a modification. Using the knees if you need to, coming into your upward facing dog or a cobra variation, passing back through plank as you lift up and back to downward dog. So a side two, right foot steps forward, right toes turn out, lift onto fingertips if you need to, step that left foot forward. Square off those hips, find your foundation, rise on an inhalation. Maybe the hands are wide apart, maybe in time they touch as the shoulders get stronger and more open. Then we're gonna exhale to release. Maybe it's fingertips, maybe it's palms. Now if you need to, you can come off of the right heel to drop the right knee down and then to step the left knee down. The only thing we wanna make sure of is now we're here, we're not yet in our modified plank. We need to create our alignment, bringing the hips forward and drawing the belly in to create our modified plank before we exhale and lower down. Inhaling, maybe a variation of locust or cobra, or coming into upward facing dog where only hands and feet touch the ground, and then feel yourself lift up and back through plank as you exhale back to downward dog. And then traditionally, after those 1 breath, 1 movements, we'd still come to downward dog and hold here for 5 breaths. And after that, you're gonna come forward to the front of your mat, maybe in baby steps, maybe in 2 big steps, and maybe we'll work on jumping forward. And that's where the bending of the knees can help create a bit of a spring to bring the feet forward. When the feet come up to meet the hands, we use our inhale breath to come to our half lift. Maybe hands are on shins, even thighs, or on the floor. Exhale, forward fold. Then we're gonna bend these. This is the hard part. Trying to find our chair alignment. I'm moving my hands off the floor to show. We are tucking the tailbone under, bringing the shoulders up and back and widening them apart into chair. Maybe the hands touch, maybe they widen apart to get the shoulders down the back. And then we inhale up and draw the arms down to Samastitihi, which is our drawing the body to even and equal weight distribution between the right and the left side. So our sun salutations are a really important element of the practice as they are what's first taught to us. And they establish our awareness of our alignment, of our breath and movement. There's some traditional beliefs about the sun salutation, but on a scientific level, it's what's heating up the body and preparing us to then take on other poses. The amount of effort that it takes to move 1 breath from movement, particularly through our sun salutation B, you'll see is enough to bring you into a sweat. And so something that we don't often associate with yoga is that level of heat naturally being invited into the body. And so our sun salutations are really what creates and establishes this cleansing of the body through the heating of the blood and the ability for us to bring fresh oxygenated blood throughout the body as we really are manifesting various shapes. We are lengthening, we are compressing, we are offering the body a lot of movement already just at the start of our practice. But if we maintain that right alignment, focus our gaze and our breath, then we'll be able to safely prepare the body for what is to come. Thanks for joining us for this workshop today. I hope that you will be able to strengthen your body in a new way and your awareness of the sun salutations in a new way from this practice and weave it into your daily life. Namaste.